Hello. I was gonna say happy Thursday, but it is again after midnight, so oh no, it is Thursday. Can't even keep up with my days. So, I don't know if everybody got a chance to watch the hearing yesterday and all the rumors and innuendos that are flying around. But let's cut through the noise and get real about what actually happened in that Provo courtroom yesterday. Tyler Robinson is accused of one of the most high-profile killings in recent memory. The shooting of Charlie Kirk, Turning Point USA event on Utah Valley University campus. The stakes couldn't be any higher. Aggravated murder, death penalty on the table, a whole nation watching. But yesterday's hearing wasn't about guilt or innocence. It was about whether the entire Utah County's attorney's office should be disqualified over a possible conflict of interest. And buried in all that back and forth was something the media barely touched. The prosecution straight up admitted they're drowning in evidence they haven't even fully received yet. We're talking about hundreds of terabytes of video. 300 terabytes to be exact from UVU's campus cameras alone, covering roughly 30 days of the footage. That's not a typo. 300 terabytes, they said. They're downloading it 24/7 onto multiple 20 terabyte hard drives, and it's still ongoing. Add that terabytes more from the phones and the digital devices, witness recordings, you name it. This isn't a simple case file. It's a digital avalanche, and the prosecutors themselves said it in open court. They haven't even processed it all. They haven't even received it all. They can't even give a firm timeline until they do. Then you have Erika Kirk, now leading TPUSA, has filed motions for a speedy trial, complaining the defense is stalling when there could be a true conflict, and they're not even close to having the evidence in hand, let alone to go through it. I mean, we're this many months into it, and if they're still 24/7 downloading terabytes and terabytes of files, Erika, I mean, come on. If she had it her way, I mean, why bother going through the proceedings, in my opinion? She hoped to, stomp her feet and demand she is grieving and be done with it already. Next chapter, wipe your hands, wash it, done. Wash, rinse, repeat. She filed motions pushing for transparency against camera bans, which I agree with. It's about probably the only thing I agree with. And against what she sees as stalling. Some outlets, including Fox News, have amplified the angle hard, framing the defense as the ones dragging their feet, painting Tyler Robinson's team as the obstacle to closure. And anybody watching Fox News, I mean, for the love of God, they are actually covering it. I apparently maybe not watching what they're covering, but the truth is they embellish and they're lying, and they're just trying to make it, I don't know, you cannot get accurate news coverage from outlets like that. It makes me sick. But here's a reality check. This case is still in pretrial limbo. No plea entered, no preliminary hearing until May 2026 at the earliest. Yesterday wasn't about delaying the trial. It was about a legitimate constitutional question. Can the same office prosecute fairly when a deputy's Deputy prosecutor's own adult child was 85 feet away when the shots rang out. Prosecutors testified under oath that it doesn't affect their decisions, that the daughter isn't a necessary witness. Let the judge decide that on February 24th. But don't pretend the defense is inventing problems when they raise it, and legitimately. And then Fox yesterday minimized on there, saying it was an ancillary relative, and I mean, just made it sound like it was like a family of family of family. It's just ridiculous. So, and don't act like the defense is single-handedly causing undue delay when the state is still collecting, sorting through an ocean of video evidence that haven't fully turned over in discovery. In capital cases like this, thorough review of every bite is required by both sides to avoid miscarriages of justice. Rushing that risks Brady violations, tainted evidence, appeals that could drag on for years anyway. The narrative that Tyler Robinson is the sole roadblock ignores the sheer scale of what's involved. It ignores the prosecution's own words in court about the evidence backlog, turns a complex procedural fight into a simple good guys versus bad guys story, and that's not justice. That's spin. We all deserve answers. The public deserves transparency, and Tyler Robinson deserves a fair process, most of all, not a rush to judgment fueled by headlines. So let's demand both. Speed where it's possible, but not at the expense of fairness, because if we sacrifice due process to satisfy outrage, we don't get justice. We just get another broken case that unravels later. Yesterday reminded us this is going to take time, and pretending otherwise doesn't honor Charlie Kirk's memory. It dishonors the system we're all supposed to trust. But, you know, I don't know. I don't know about you, but I don't have a whole lot of trust in that system. Not even a little, really. It's disheartening. But I don't know what the hell this camera's doing. It's annoying me. Why is it all up in my face? Hold on 1 second, please. Oy. Okay, well, yeah. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, I had to fix that. All right, so I don't know. I put together some clips from the hearing yesterday. And, of course, Fox. Here's one. Oh, here's Erika on Fox.
Because what I don't want to have happen is for there not to be, and then I am relying then on social media and other news outlets to explain the narrative rather than saying, hey, this is what happened, this is what here's all of the, it's just as hard, all of the facts on the table for you guys to see, and you guys can see on full display what happened to my husband, and there is no ifs, ands, or buts or confusion as to who did it and why.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to end on that. I want to talk about something up.
You feel like she tripped over her words there and got red-faced, and her yucky eyes started to maybe come out there a little bit. I feel like she did. Let's listen to what Fox had to say.
Defending Tyler Robinson, and they're going to go through every little tiny thing they can to try to lay the groundwork for a possible appeal.
No, I think you're absolutely right. This is borderline obstructionist at this point. They're going to file every motion that they can imagine. They're going to turn over every stone that they possibly can.
This judge is extraordinarily patient
and
with
this
it.
judge is going to allow them to be heard on a lot of this. And just so we understand what took place here, this hearing ended before it even began. They're basically saying that the state attorney is not even in the proper position to argue the hearing that we're all set to argue today. So it's an ambush, essentially. They came into court and they said, Your Honor, we don't even think it's appropriate that the other side be able to represent themselves in this issue, but didn't alert anyone ahead of time. So now the judge is in this position that if he thinks that they're well positioned in their arguments, he's got to stop everything and appoint essentially counsel to the prosecutor's office so that we can have this hearing at a later date.
Yeah, I mean, so just to catch people up if they didn't know, sort of what the background was of what they're hearing here. The suggestion is that there is a child of someone who is ancillary to the prosecution here that was on the property on campus that day and texted something that said someone was just shot, and then later it was Charlie. Charlie was shot. That's not verbatim. It's approximate. And that because that person is related to someone related to the prosecution, that now they're going to need an outside entity away from the prosecution team to determine whether or not that is an issue of conflict, right?
You're absolutely right. And to categorize this person as ancillary is generous. I mean, this person is several degrees removed from the prosecution, but they're making the argument that because that person was even present on the campus, that taints the entire prosecutor's office, that entire office has to be dismissed and replaced, I guess, with the state's attorney general's office, and that they can't even proceed forward in prosecuting this case from this point on. It's a borderline ridiculous argument. It really does not have legs. And the judge not only should be denying it today, but we're not even getting to the meat of that argument because they're saying before we can even argue that an attorney should be appointed essentially for the prosecutor's office to argue whether or not they have this conflict. It is like obstruction on top of obstruction as far as this ever even getting off the ground.
Yeah, I'm going to bring in Donna Ortuno.
Really? It's more like you couldn't even keep your facts straight. A relative on top of a relative on top of a relative, that's just asinine. It is the deputy director's daughter herself. Shut up. And this is why I don't watch those networks. You cannot get the truth or real news from them. Not a chance. No, and then I clipped some pieces from the hearing.
Your Honor, Chad Greenender for the state. To date, we have shared with the defense 100% of what we have received from law enforcement. With that said, we have been informed late last week that there is approximately, there are several terabytes of digital evidence from phones and other digital devices that the State Bureau of Investigations has in their possession. We are collecting a 20 terabyte hard drive to two of them, one for us and one for the defense. We did receive a letter, I think, this morning from the defense outlining their expectations with respect to how that would be received, original form, and more specifics as well. So we're in the process of coordinating that download onto those hard drives of the digital evidence that's been collected, and we will provide that as soon as we receive that and downloaded to the defense. We are still working with law enforcement on the download of approximately 30 days of all of the surveillance video at UVU. We were told it was approximately 300 terabytes, and that's being downloaded 24/7, so that is still in process. So we're actively working on that and looking forward to collecting that and passing that along to the defense. It will need to be shared in some sort of similar fashion, I'm sure, with respect to hard drives.
Thank you, Mr. Grunander. Does defense want to be heard?
So, from the prosecution themselves, they haven't they haven't even received the bulk of the video evidence. Then they have to go through it. And then they have to give it to the defense and they have to go through it. So in what world, Fox, are the defense or Tyler Robinson delaying anything? And then here's the defense response.
I just want to be heard.
That is correct, Your Honor. Stacey Visser on behalf of the defense. We are in communication with the state about what we believe is missing at this point, and we are anticipating a large amount of digital discovery in the next few weeks that we will need to process.
All right. Thank you.
May I supplement this conversation, Your Honor?
Briefly.
Thank you, Your Honor. We've kind of divided up discovery responsibilities, and mine is to address what I'll call non-digital forensics. So there are many items of seized evidence that have been sent to various law enforcement labs around the country without getting into the details. We have some very, what I'll refer to as summary reports of those evaluations. But as the state attorneys know, we're going to need all of the underlying data, notes. These relate to things like DNA and other forensics. So if we haven't provided them with a very, very detailed list of the types of documents we need, we will. But I think, and Mr. Gornander could speak to this in more detail in terms of the status of that, but I think that's another big chunk of materials that presumably the state attorney's office has not received yet from law enforcement. And so obviously,
the defense is not stalling on nothing. Quite literally, they're not stalling on nothing. And to say otherwise, you're just full of shit. And then we're going to get, this is where the prosecutor got up there.
I mean, you handpicked this team, right?
I did handpick this team.
Right. And the person whose child we're talking about is a long-standing, experienced senior member of your office,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It was important for you that they be part of this case.
So my reason for clipping that was to make sure it was caught.
You handpicked this team, right?
I did handpick this team.
Right. And the person whose child we're talking about is a long-standing, experienced senior member of your office,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It was important for you.
He handpicked that team, and he's a long-standing member of that team, the person that his daughter was there. But, that might not be a conflict, and maybe it will be. But that's something that should be heard. And and apparently the prosecution felt it was necessary to disclose it. Otherwise, the defense probably would have never even known.
To file a notice of intent to seek the death penalty against Mr. Robinson, and the fact, which is beyond dispute, that a adult child of a member of the prosecution team was present at the shooting of Mr. Kirk, all right? You state...
You reckon that prosecutor could look any more uncomfortable than what he does? And I'm not picking on them. I mean, they all seem like they're trying to work together.
Constitutional rights of Mr. Robinson, as well as the constitutional and statutory rights of Ms. Erika Kirk in her role as victim representative. The purpose of today's evidentiary hearing is limited and specific. The court is asked to consider the defendant's claim that a member of the prosecution team, referred to as deputy county attorney in one of the motions, has a personal conflict of interest, that any such conflict extends to the Utah County Attorney's Office, and that disqualification is therefore required. The court's role at this stage is to receive relevant evidence and to rule based on the record and applicable law without reaching the merits of those claims in advance.
I don't know that I trust that judge, but I definitely, you can tell he's annoyed.
Your next witness, Mr. Burt.
Your Honor, I call Prosecutor A.
All right.
Look at his annoyed face.
And I assume from the court's ruling, we do not need to do a closed session as to his identity?
We will not be doing a closed session as to his identity.
Thank you.
That's RBF for a dude.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and swear in the witness.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give now before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
I ain't even gonna lie, I kind of like his RDF face. He's kind of annoyed.
But E, I wonder if you could identify that for the court?
Yes, this is an email that I sent to you as well as co-counsel for Mr. Robinson. It looks like I copied our prosecution team on this email as well. It was an email that was sent on the morning of October 1st, 2025, that disclosed an issue that came up with respect to this case that we felt was important enough to tell you, let the defense know.
Thank
this
you.
This is my email.
I'd move E into evidence, Your Honor.
To the state.
And the whole audio on that hearing was terrible. And it's not any particular network either, by the way, because I went to several different ones and it all sounded the same. So I think it's the audio in the court. It's shitty.
Received.
And how about Exhibit F?
Yes, I see that. This is a photograph. It looks like it's a still shot from probably a TV screen from a Fox News alert that shows the amphitheater where Mr. Charlie Kirk was killed on September 10th.
And was this photograph used by you and an investigator to take some measurements out at the scene at some point?
It was, yes. In the middle of the photograph, you can see a dark bag. It's actually a dark blue bag. That belonged to my daughter. She was at the scene on that day when Mr. Kirk was shot and killed. And I don't know if this was sent to me or I found it, but that indicated where her bag was left behind when she left the scene. I used this along with an investigator to determine the approximate distance where she was standing when Mr. Kirk was shot and killed.
And what was that distance that you determined?
85 feet.
When did you make that measurement?
That measurement was done the day before, I believe, that I sent the email. So I believe that would have been September 30th of 2025.
I mean, he seems like he's being transparent to me. I mean, I don't know why it wasn't said on September 10th. Obviously, he was contacted by his daughter on September 10th while being there. But
happened in relation to your daughter while you were at the conference?
Yeah, shortly after I finished presenting, we were standing around. I was standing next to my boss and some of the other county attorneys in the state, and I started to receive some texts from my daughter that were sent to our group, family text group.
And can you recall for me what the content of that initial text was?
Yes, there was a text that came in, I think at 12:25, I believe, that was in all caps, and it said someone was shot or someone got shot. There was another text that came in, I may have seen it at the same time, but it's the same time stamp that said something to the effect, I'm okay, everyone's running inside.
Okay. And just to refresh your memory, we were recently provided with some of your daughter's emails and screenshots, one of which was a screenshot of a outgoing phone call to you at 12:28 p.m. Do you recall that?
I do. I believe I actually tried to call her, and I don't think she picked up, and then she called me.
All right. And according to the screenshot, that was a 1-minute call. Do you recall what you said, what was said during that conversation?
I think I was checking on her well-being to make sure she was okay. I don't know that we even talked too much about the facts, what occurred. It was a short phone call, but I wanted to make sure she was okay. That's why I called.
Sure. What was your initial reaction when you learned that she was present at what probably you didn't know much about at that point?
Well, I was startled. I was concerned for her welfare. I understood almost immediately when I found out about it that she was okay, that she was out of danger, but it was concerning.
Now, did you know that she was attending this event?
I did. She had talked about it in the days preceding that she was going to go to this rally.
And did you have some discussion with her about whether that was a good idea, bad idea, or you had no position on it?
No position. We didn't talk about that.
See, I thought that response was odd. I didn't discuss any details with her. How could you? She was contacting you to let you know there was a shooting. So I thought that was a little weird. I don't know. Little shit like that sticks out to me.
It obviously had to be before October 9th, right?
Correct.
He definitely shared it with the whole, and I'm quoting again, he definitely shared it with the whole prosecution team prior to notifying us. Is that accurate? Did you speak with every member of the prosecution team, meaning all the attorneys in your office, about your daughter's presence?
All of the attorneys assigned to this case?
Yes.
I believe so. I don't think I spoke to them, each one individually, but they would have been present when it was talked about at some point, I'm sure.
Okay, let's see.
So again, I mean, I can see where it could possibly be a conflict. He was handpicked by the head prosecutor. His daughter was there.
In relation to Charlie Kirk, this is before September 10th.
Just that I had become aware, probably through her, that he was coming to UVU. She would watch Charlie Kirk from time to time online, and she was excited to go see him at this rally.
Okay, so 12:28, you have this phone call with her. And then do you recall you communicating back with her by way of text?
Yes, I remember asking her a question a few minutes later, asking whether she heard what sounded like a gunshot.
And is that the reference? I think it's attached to the opposition to the motion as Exhibit B, an entry at 12:35.
That sounds right.
Hannah, did you hear a gunshot or what sounded like a gunshot?
That's correct.
That was from you to her by way of text.
Yes.
And did you get a response back from her?
Yes, she responded, I for sure heard it. Everyone started screaming and running. A few people said they saw the shot hit his neck, ... Not sure.
So at that point, did you share the email exchange or the text exchanges with anyone, either verbally or actually sending the text to anybody?
I know I spoke with Jeff Gray about these text messages. I may have even alerted him to the fact that there had been a shooting prior to even sending that text to my daughter.
Again, I find it a little bit strange. The first thing he asked was, well, not the first, but seemingly after being notified and told that she was okay, did you hear a gunshot? I don't know. It just seems like an odd question. Captain Obvious.
Quote, I'm getting live information, but I can't share it right now.
Yes, I remember. I think that was on the family group text.
Yes.
I think there was chatter on that group text from my sons. I think my wife as well. I think someone may have asked me, "Can you tell us anything or what's going on?" And I just let them know I'm learning things, but I can't talk about it.
And when you say you were getting live information, who are you getting live information from? Do you recall?
Can you remind me of what time that text was?
That was 12:40 p.m. on the 10th.
I do not recall, counsel.
Okay.
I think I had just communicated with
His daughter. Found that a little bit odd.
In relation to Charlie Kirk. This is before September 10th.
It's the same one.
just that I had become aware, probably through her.
So, I don't know. I clipped what I thought was, as opposed to playing the whole thing. I mean, I don't feel the defense is dragging. I definitely don't feel, I don't know. I think some strange things were said. I definitely think that Erika's being unreasonable. And, you know, Erika, the world doesn't revolve around you and what you want. And I know that you're trying to, you know, finish this last chapter and be done with it. But there's a process, whether, even if Tyler's innocent and has to take it like everybody else in this country has to when the rich and elite want to get away with doing something. You know, kind of like Jeff E. is probably sitting over in the little place the size of Jersey and probably trying to get Gaza into some beautiful, luxurious place, in my opinion. Allegedly. Speaking of Jeff, how about this? So, on Wednesday, September 21st, 2016 at 12:49 p.m., Redacted wrote, the 23andMe kits arrived and will be delivered to Woody and Suni to their home today. Please note, the information contained in this communication is confidential, may be attorney-client privilege, may constitute inside information, blah, 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 blah. That's what he's concerned about. Yeah. And then this from the files. Hi, Sultan. Can you please tell me who James Miller is? He is who you have billed the 30 kits for, or 2. Also, I do understand the shipping address is Jeffrey's home. At 9 East 71st Street in New York, New York. On June 3rd, 2017 at 1:20. Sultan bin Sulayem, redacted, wrote. So, yeah. He planned to come, instead of having the 23andMe kits shipped to him, you know, the DNA kits, they'd be at Jeffrey's home, because we know that the 23andMe kits are code for kids, you know, like the whole pizza and all that bullshit with, you know, disgusting Hillary and Bill, and we only have a fraction of who else so far. But yeah, I've been going through these as much as I can stomach, little by little every day. And to think that this is what they felt comfortable enough to put out there and tell us. Imagine what they haven't. This makes me sick. 30 kits ordered. The fuck? I mean, unreal. It pisses me off. It makes me angry. It disgusts me. And everybody should question. I mean, your neighbor could be this person or doing this. It's absolutely terrifying to raise a child in this this day and age. And I'll say again, the best thing I ever did was taking my daughters out of public school and homeschool them, because they have changed history. I mean, they don't even, that's a whole nother rabbit hole I'm going into that we'll cover. But yeah, so that was it for that, and I just wanted to get on here and see what you guys thought about some of the happenings with the Tyler Robinson hearing yesterday, and, you know, the disgusting Jeff. And I mean, can we even discuss the fact that Ghislaine was moved to a nice cushy place because she opted to not rat out the president? It's gross, people. It's gross. But that's all I have for tonight. I hope everybody has a good night. And if you like this video, please subscribe and share. Turn on notifications. Hit the like button. And again, I will tell you, even if you don't, it is the polite thing to do. We should be all supporting each other to get the information out there. So please like and subscribe. And I will see you tomorrow. Good night.